We're just gonna hop right in. I mean, it's 100 raids of Matka Miest. Do you really want an intro? Nah, you don't. I went in thinking this was going to be miserable. I remember Matka Miest being the map where there's an absurd amount of really geared players and hardly any loot. Well, at least this first raid was going to teach me otherwise. I also will say that for this video, you'll hear me be a lot more emotional. I feel like I was very monotone for the prior one, and it kind of showed. So, expect me to exaggerate things like player kills right here to be a little more exciting. He had some good gear, so I felt kind of confident and wanted to go check the vault over by this bridge to see if it had been already popped open, and sure enough, it was. Nice. Whoever was here did not like night vision. There was 2 pairs of quad knots just here on the bridge. Oh, you didn't think I was going to break out that gimmick this early, right? No, of course not. Don't worry, there'll be a lot more. The first raid went pretty well. You know what did not go pretty well? This clip right here. At least the fight was a little bit of a back and forth before my first death. Nice little scuffle here to start off the next raid. He does go down after just shimmying around some corners a bit. Pretty good kill. I just decided to wing it and loot out in the open. Like, I had no interest. He also had my favorite AR, the HK, recently released, and I hardly saw it during Chodov, so this is pretty cool. But then I ran into a cheater. I'd love to be proven wrong and someone tell me how to get up there, but I will believe otherwise. Look guys, you're just gonna have to believe me on this. At some point, I didn't record a raid, but I took a snapshot of this after. Like, while I'm trying to figure out how to get on that ledge, I promise, there's a lot of raids I did not record and either went abysmally bad or notably good. If you're thinking this is how the guy got up, no, he was in like the corner where like cobwebs would be. Pretty much like above me right here. Yeah. I said it in Chodov, but encounters are either over before they begin or a nice little shuffle back and forth. Oh, and one thing I'm going to point out, they updated scavs, so when I die to scavs like this, please don't make too much fun of me. Encounters like this are pretty popular, where you do get the drop on someone and put in a bunch of rounds, but nope. This map has 2 vaults, and through here is the second one. You need a skull found on a different map, but there are still some small bits of nice loot here. I just played it nice and slow, and lo and behold, another vault left open. Well, let's pillage the remains, shall we? I really love this vault just because of the variety. Like, that and the fact that they updated the game so that, like, keycards are just really common. Vaults are really fun. There's a lot of those. I'm not going to hold you there the entire time of that song. Let me introduce you to my second occupation, the conductor. It's really fun to get up in these trains, and there are some nice encounters in them. It's whatever, I guess. Unfortunately, the local transportation system is no match for the construction crew, because after climbing this ladder, I don't even know where he was, man. You know, despite there being a lot more geared players in this map, that's no reason for there to not be a couple of boring raids every now and then, and this certainly was one of those. At least it's better than that picture I showed. Oh, dude, this one was so cool. There's a guy with a beret for some reason, and his buddy. I got a multi-kill right here. That was pretty slick. I wanted to make sure I take out whoever they were shooting at, and, yep, there he is. Alright, sweet. Now we gotta just make our way over to the loot, get to cover. Well, shit. I guess it happens. Footsteps beneath me the next raid, and I want to try my luck with this AKM. Yep, there he is. Okay, yeah, I might have won, but we'll never know. I clicked, to be honest. Thick armor saves this guy here. I get the drop on him, yet after all those rounds, it doesn't pan out. This is where the insanity really starts. Next raid, we start off behind the museum, laying down some fire at a person. Well, you can see him, but he's not going down easy. I made sure to pack properly for this, thankfully. I did my best to shimmy around, take cover where I need be. I will give credit to this map. The cover here can really be cool. However, if you can't tell by that gunfire, all it takes is one bullet where it doesn't belong. Here's another big enemy you gotta deal with. Latency. I don't know if you can see him, but down this way there's a guy. I wasn't in cover. Instances like that are kind of common, but to make up for it, keycard the next raid, looky looky. This will be pretty nice to go hit the other vault with. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Over by that white truck, there's a really good guy. He's fighting other people, so I decided to make do with the advantage I have, and sure enough, he goes down. Oh, after a good bit of gunfire, that is. A key lesson that I learned is how bad my judgment is. I was smart, and I tossed down this smoke. I did not know where the people he was fighting was, but I knew I really wanted that equipment. The smoke perspirated until I thought it was solid enough, so I make the daring journey. It was, it didn't end the way I wanted it to. Hey look, I automatically lose any respect I had for people who use AP. Like, here's a good example. The collector boss had spawned, and I was looking for someone who had evidence nearby. Oh look, there he is. Oh, damn. I guess that's more of an example of someone I more so respect the engagement with, but... Oh, okay, well, he kind of just flew into my arms. Nice. His buddy was still there, and he tried to grab the loot from his fallen buddy. Okay, well, I guess that worked. It's a good example as to why you don't loot out in the open. Unless you're me. Because you want to know what I did? Yeah, I went and looted out in the open. But I didn't die here, though. That's the next clip. The next clip, it made me mad. I bring purple keycards because I have a lot in my safe house. There's a guy hiding out right here. Let's lay down some fire. Okay, he's going to fight back. Let's get to cover and reload real quick. I overextended, admittedly, and instead of getting to those pillars, I just booked it back to the car. He took advantage, and I lost a card. You'll have to forgive me for not commentating over every single clip because there's a lot that just wound up with a player death. Here's a really good spawn for purple key cards. Like, there's only so often I can really go, this person got the drop on me. I barely got away on this person. Oh man, this encounter. You get the idea. It's all just meshes into itself, and it's not really good to commentate. Wait. You mean to tell me they actually added figurines to this game? Damn. That's actually kind of cool. As I said, you get a lot of key cards, and if you notice at that first bit, I actually found 2 just in the drawer below me. It's really resourceful. I had zero interest in looking for trouble, so I took this nice back alley that I love taking just to avoid any sort of conflict. It's the safest option I reasonably had to get out. Extractions open at around 10 minutes into the raid on this map, which means you engage a lot more, so I'm happy I managed to get out without finding someone. Looking at the footage, I could have easily made this raid a quote-unquote boring raid, but then we're missing over a vault, man. You don't want to miss that. Rocking a hard place here. There's a really geared guy right over those barrels, and, well, it's getting a little difficult, so I pop a smoke. Wait for it to perspirate, book it across. Yeah, you can even see that footage, don't lie. Vault time. You know what that means. This extraction's right next to the bridge, so I'm happy to take it when it appears. Oh shit, right, I gotta commentate. There's a guy right over by this construction scaffolding. I see him crouched down, and I don't know where he reached out from next, but he got me, I guess. Yep. Well geared up, when to leave, and I'm cooked. Oh, no. I just sat my ass right here and waited for them to walk in, but they never did. They just walked right by. I had little to lose, and I just decided to take some pot shots to start the engagement. I mean, engagements on this map are fun. Look at all those cars I can hide behind. It'll be so fun. There were 3 of them, and I knew I was not making it out. If you heard earlier, one of them did have a machine gun, and I was all prepared to die. Like, this was not going to end well for me. So, well, yeah, you can already see me taking damage. I think you all know where this is about to go. Changed cover, and then I took a bullet to the brain. Washed my blood under the sun. That's it. I find that AP just invalidates the game. Like, I'm happy they took it out from a merchant before, but, like, these kills still feel cheap to me. While I die to this guy, I might as well explain merchants. They're essentially people you can buy equipment from after leveling them up by doing tasks and quests. I don't even know what to say. That is the weakest handgun possible, and I had an Alton equipped. That made me pissed. Sorry for no audio, but I turn this corner and I find the goons. Like, dude, I just took off. Do I even need to say what's about to happen? Okay, this one deserves context. I saw this ledge here and I knew people were coming up to me. I tried to jump to ease my way onto it. Yeah. You know what really gets your heart going in this map? When you're going up to a vault that you know has people in it. And I knew people were in this one. I mean, that's a machine gun that you're hearing. I did not know if they knew where I was, so I just hid in this corner. But then some guys start to take shots, so I kind of was forced to engage. You want to know who popped out that very second? Yeah, the geared guys. At least I got one of them before the other got me. Okay, like, I cannot see why I would engage. Like, I would hear that and I'd know, yeah, alright, I'm kind of screwed over. But, like, let's just engage, because why not? You should know how this is going to end. I take a little bit more damage. Yeah, alright, let's just heal up. Alright, peek one more time. Alright, they're still firing some shots. How about again? No. This was a really bad one. I brought in really good gear because I was tired of dying. Even AP rounds. This church is a very aggressive spawn because the scavs here are really vicious. So I do my best to take one out, and then I go to heal myself, but I get pushed. Starting next raid, I kill a juiced player. Yeah, that's boss gear. I know he has a buddy, so we're gonna loop around to try and get the advantage on him. I see him, take some shots, and he moves to cover. Oh, this is gonna be rough. Then he deploys the absolute most smoke grenades I have ever seen in my time playing this game, and that's saying a lot. I don't know if he heard me, I mean, he probably did, but here he comes. Oh, yay, woohoo. I really like engaging in these little trenches, because it always gives you a lovely advantage over whoever you're fighting. I mean, it's a much smaller area they're having to shoot at, and it's harder for them to see you. Even after I take a good bit of damage, I still felt relatively capable of fighting. Until I take one bullet too many. Yeah. This map is the antithesis of it's so over, we're so back. And let me tell you, this was not a raid where we're so back. Because then you get clips like this where I'm like, yeah, alright, got some light gear off of this guy. I was well geared and ready to go find some chaos to get myself into, but nope, the guy with the G3, he just whips around, 2 bullets to the head, that's all it takes, and I lose a lot of gear. Like, I bring gear to these raids, and the most annoying part is not dying, it's knowing that I then have to go back after deaths like this, and I have to go prep myself all over again. And that's saying a good bit when I have a spawn like this with a key card, and it's like 4 minutes to get geared, but nope, unlucky spawn. I usually like to keep scavs alive as warning shots, because when they start firing, I know it's not at me, and I know that means that there's a guy coming up, so I make sure my gun's prepped and wait for him to breeze in. He skipped my room and went upstairs, and I knew I had to be very quick and very smart about this, so I just, alright, well, let's leg it. Aw, nice. I'm sorry, man, but come on. Another thing I like about this vault is you can fight back. I can see this guy running out in the street out there, and I miss every shot, but I am at least given the opportunity to take some shots at him before he... Well, you know, I decided to just grab my loot and skedaddle. He was a lot more greedy than me, and thankfully he was not well equipped. You know what? That's what he gets. Then I was jump scared by a man over by the construction area. Scaffolding? Yeah, sure. Here he is. Unlike the other guy, this guy was actually geared, so let's get to looting. To go back on the scavs while I extract, they're just a lot more aggressive. They are a lot more perceptive and active. They move around, and it feels like all of their shots just... homeless Walmart Timmy. It feels like all their shots have AP. I think that explains the shield incident in the last video, so do with that as you will. Like, I have a vest B on. Maybe not the most health, but I know there's a guy about to walk around this corner. So, well... like, it should have stopped that bullet. Oh, but this is where we get all of the gear. We start off with a really geared player over in the distance here. Then I constantly swap my cover around to get the angle on this guy. I should also note that I killed 2 guys in that first scuffle, so well, this guy was out of ammo, so I push up. Oh, he's dead. Oh, whoa, okay. This is all really good. We gotta take this somewhere to loot. Cue the looting music. And with that, I lose all motivation to keep looting in this map. Like, let's just try and find an extraction. This is top tier loot. Armor, helmets, all of it. Like, come on, can you blame me? You'll be pleased to know that after an excruciating amount of time, I do manage to get to an extraction with all this equipment. Heavy breathing and all. And, get out. They had chromatic skins on all their guns, so it'll look really nice in the screenshot I'm about to show you on screen. Yep, and all this from a little bit of very mid-gear and a AKM. Alright, you've seen that. Let's just get back to me losing, because you know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Like, these guys, I'd take a few out, but a few is not all. Oh, and here's what I mean about the scav man. I mean, he literally 3 shots from an SKS. Maybe 4, I wasn't counting. Nor can I count, but you get the point. Here, I heard some guys fighting over by the scaffolding, and he wasn't using a silenced weapon. Rookie mistake. So let's just take some shots at him, and down he goes. Lovely, let's go pilfer. I got everything I needed, and then the guy he was fighting started to take shots at me. He shot out my leg, so I couldn't keep running. I think he thought I was dead, so I just try and heal up as quiet as I can. I couldn't jump and I couldn't run, so... I mean, he was in every right. The absolute flood of dopamine I always get when I pull off things like this. Like, oh, guy. Alright, he wastes all of his ammo and boom, he's dead. Nice, now I can get out. However, when I moved his gear out of the street to go loot, I was left in a hard place with this geared guy down the street. I was not doing too good. It was definitely going to be rough. Oh, and to clear any confusion you may have about that box I keep whipping out from my ass, that's my med box. You get this little container when you do enough of a certain quest that always saves whatever is in it, even if you die. I mop up this guy right here. Also, shout out to that nade last raid. Like, I might have been sour about it, but that was still a good nade. You know what's also really good? This guy's armor. I might have scuffed shots, but those are G3 rounds. Hey, you want a prime example of a raid I can't really commentate? Well, there you go. Alright, now this map's giving me PTSD. These are scavs who are running pretty quick because they're overhauled, and I'm thinking they're a player, so I just vomit rounds first thing before I realize how they're scavs. Okay, let's just tap them then. But you gotta stay on edge. This is the negative of this vault, is because if you get stuck up here, you're not going anywhere. And there's only so much you can do. That was on me. I tried crouching and shifting, like he was... I do this a lot, where I just choose to get in fights with like really geared players that I know I have no chance of winning. You wanna guess what happens? Oh yay! Bridge spawn! Once again, I kinda got stuck, so I wanted to try this again and not suicide jump. And to my surprise, I actually managed to get on. Oh, that is until my leg was sticking through the wall and he just took advantage of it. You know what, that's fair. I was sour about this. Yeah, he was right there and just tossed a nade and I had nowhere else to go, but like, it's still really irritating that this happens with a foul. I had gone through a bunch of raids of failures, so I wanted to bring the foul again because I was pretty tired of losing. This thing's a monster. It just vomits out 7.62x51. Like, it's even customizable, so it's really easy to control and use, and then AP rounds? Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be using AP rounds very much. I mean, I think there's twice in this video, and you saw one. I've been mopping up players all raid, so this goofball who thinks he's going to try and camp a vault, he was not going to win this, man. I was not having it. He took a bullet to the brain. His buddy, well, he fared pretty similarly. Oh my gosh. These guys had an MP9 and an SKS. What were they hoping to achieve? Like, go home. Then I got to work looting. And I heard more footsteps. Like, dude, this is unbelievable. Like, go home. I don't care how geared you are. I'm coming down. Please, I'm so done. You know, that's the first time I think I was trying to really be exaggerant, and I think I did a good job. I was pretty happy with how well it lined up, too, to be honest. Let's get next raid all wrapped up, shall we? There's 2 guys who fought the collector boss in here, and there they are. Let's unload a bunch of rounds, and they had boss gear. What did I expect? I kind of ended up like this guy in that raid, where like I wasn't really gonna go anywhere. I knew I was kind of stuck, and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to kill them. I just figured to give it a try, and if it worked out, it worked out. Hey, another encounter I reasonably shouldn't have started. I've seen YouTube videos and such, but I think this is the first time I've gone down here. Like, this is the vault. Someone's been here, they put the skull onto the skeleton. I just made sure that there's some small stuff that they didn't loot before I just shambled around. Like, it's a pretty grand place if you just want to come in, stock up on some gear, find all... Look, it is what it is, man. There's a couple of cases they didn't really loot, and I was pretty happy for it. But overall, this is a really lovely area, I gotta say. It was just nice and grand. I never got footage of it, or at least saved any, but they cleaned it out pretty well. The actual vault still requires a purple key card, so, you know. But you wanna know what I did get footage of? Me killing this one straggler player. I think he was carrying loot. Let's go see what he had. His gear was not spectacular. I mean, he had an M4 coated in America, but it was pretty simple aside from that. You would assume I would go looking for trouble after that, but you'd be wrong. I don't know why I had a handgun. I think it's because of a task, but I mean, I did my best to use it against players, and oh look, oh nice, a Tapco. I rarely see these. I hope I don't lose it to a scat. Alrighty, next raid. Let's just let it play out its entirety because of how fast it is and how abysmal these scavs are. I don't know if I'm using a 9mm or a 10mm, but it won't matter anyway. I'm dead. I still love the Bison, okay? It can just rip out rounds like there's no tomorrow, and reminds me of that Bison quest. If you know, you know. But, alright dude, this is inexcusable. A bar, and I ran out of ammo. I don't know what I thought would have happened, so I tried to run away, but guess what happens? Oh, and here's the sequel to AR versus handgun. Still goes the way you think. Only, and I mean the only thing of note from the next raid is me just going through this vault that was pillaged and collecting anything need be. Like, I got a figurine and a helmet. Cool. While I died to a camper outside of church, those figurines actually have multiple conditions that can come in, and that was a mint condition. This is what I do while I wait for raids. And when some of the raids end like this, do you really blame me for losing my mind? Like, those are 3 SKS shots. Like, I'm sorry, I still feel like these guys use AP rounds. Oh, wait, you want this raid to play out? But it's boring. I mean, I'll give you this raid. It's a little more fun. There's some geared players right there, and I just try and cover fire while I make my grand escape. I'm not successful, but it's cool. That raid where I played The World Looks Red, yeah, I was still kind of feeling that energy when I had this guy, so I just thought, hey, you know what, he's gonna play the long game. I'm just gonna push him. It didn't work out as well this time, but I was still happy I did it. You know, a lot of these times I die to scavs, it's because I'm too cautious and I don't want to drop all of my ammo into them, so can you blame me? The next raid, I encountered the machine gun that kills you if you look up. I mean, he didn't kill me until I looked up. Something I don't understand, and I don't feel is skill, is just how fast people like this can just whip to my cranium. Like, I know I was out of position, but still. Slowly yet surely I'm getting accustomed to the scavs. It doesn't mean I'm living through them. Alright, I was trying to heal, but then this guy... I really like this commando rifle, man. That's what I call it, and I find it really fun. While I get rushed down by these really geared players and I try to escape, it's a tier 3 weapon with only a top Picatinny mount. I should have just taken off the second I was, like, in danger, but nope. There was a lot of bullets to his head, by the way. I was a little confused at this point. Maybe boss gear. And by tier 3, I mean that's the level your trader has to be before you get it. I saw him walk by and I thought he didn't see me. Then the next raid, the boss spawned. Like, alright, let's cut the crap. It took a long time for me to try and put out all the shots to kill his henchman. I was out of position, I guess, and he just took advantage. It is what it is. I wasn't terribly mad. Like, I was out of position, I was out of ammo, and while he does only spawn like 5% of the time, I can't blame myself for being sloppy. Have you ever seen a cheater? This is what they look like. It doesn't stop bullets, at least. I guess he was trying to trick the game into thinking he was grabbing at a ladder, but it didn't work out for him. My guess as to what they were doing was that they were trying to loot the vault without having it open, and so they were just going inside. This guy couldn't get back inside, so I hit that really slick reload, and down he goes. Oh, and I will absolutely shame these guys. I have no problem showing off their tags. If you're gonna give me shame for that, just note that I play well over 110 raids because of a mix of me not recording and me just doing extras, so I'm not gonna put up with people making it harder artificially, you know? Like, I want a good, genuine death. Like, me not paying attention and then a geared guy rounds a corner and lights me up. That's what I want, not some cheater flying above. I'd like to apologize for any audio inconsistencies you hear throughout this video. I know my voice goes up and down and gets hyper and dull at times, but it's on me. I don't bring a ruler or a chart to make sure I'm talking the exact same in every clip, so I just wing it, man, to be honest. The vault was already looted, just pretty poorly. In fact, when I was going over to this backpack, something caught my eye. A GPU? You know what? Sure. Alright, yeah, let's just stuff that in the bag. The really crazy thing is that when I was leaving, I saw another one just sitting in this... Like, dude, you had to have brought this in. There's no way. The shield is for selling to other entities, and fun fact, it gets stuck. I also lose my gun after I put it down. I don't know where. I guess my shield bumped it and it's gone. For these last few raids, I really wanted to get serious, so I brought in this MDR bullpup assault rifle. I then wanted to play very careful and very slow. I did not want to go out and do anything irrational, because what if a player was there and I lose everything? Evident by this clip though, fun and safe aren't exactly the same. You know, it took me a long time to realize what the name of this gun was, and even after I started using it, I still was wondering what a MDR was. I thought for the longest time it was an LMG. Yeah, well, we're not gonna have you sit through that. Back to being the conductor. This time there was actually a player down there, so I'm not just trying to protect myself from a scav. I think he was trying to get me to waste ammo by flailing out his hand. It didn't really work out for him, though. This is why you play careful. Slow corner I round. Yep, okay, his buddy's down. I know he had a buddy somewhere, though, so we gotta play smart. So instead of charging into the angle I knew he was watching, oh yeah, he's down that bridge. And I knew he was cooked, because there's no way to go. So even after I reload, he's still there, because where's he gonna go? I even used a flashlight, man. How cooked do you have to be to have that happen? Alright, look, no shade. I just get a little passionate after all these raids. Like, after so many BS deaths and just AP round monsters that I have to deal with, can you blame me for being a little... Oh, wait, cool. Collector figurine. Dude, oh my gosh, I killed the depositor. Tabor is safe. This is by far the most egregious example of scavs. Like, he was fighting a player, and my vest stopped nothing. I found and loaded a drum mag in this raid, and... Oh. Okay, well, he had an Alton. That'll be fun to loot. I knew he likely had a buddy, so I wanted to play it safe, but I think the second I opened the bag, he took it as his window. Ah, but you want to see me get passionate? There goes one player, solidly geared. Let's reload real quick. Here's another guy. Alright, that makes it 2. Oh, there's his buddies. Let's quickly knock them both down. That makes it 3-4. Alright, what did I need? I needed 2 more players. I need 7 players out of a map with 12 to just all be right here in this tiny little circle. Like, dude, out of all 12 players, really? If I include myself, that raid had 7 players just all in that small little area. That's ridiculous. Transition change. This is the clip I always think of when I think of the conductor. Then I found some geared players, and I was pinched pretty bad. I had to hide in a bush, and look, I was in a rock and a hard place, and it didn't go well. This foul sound just oozes with, like, it makes my ears bleed from joy. It sounds so nice. This raid has me engaging with a trio. They're really geared, and I didn't bring much ammo, so I had to just sit in the back, swap ammo. I wasn't really wanting to spend that much ammo, so I was trying to shimmy around. Led to us being inside the church, and alright, we're down to 1. He was around this corner, and alright, poured some rounds. Alright, make sure we're good on ammo. Alright, we have to swap to the scar. And then I heard him healing. Any second now, he should prick himself, so I took it as my sign to go in, but he stood up. Dude. Like, those were rounds to my head with an Alton, and yet I somehow didn't best him in that. A lot of raids are just like, come on, man. Like, do I really... Is that really how it went? I got so pissed from that, man. And I think the worst part is, there's still a raid out there that's worse than that one. Only one, but still. In these few clips, I'm engaging with a guy who has an LMG in the distance. He shot me up a little, and I tried healing, but he took advantage of me just trying to crouch down. I even smoked it. Alright, let's go to being a little more positive here. Like, these guys were lighting me up. I didn't have too much of a chance, but at least I got to use the Tapco a good bit. It was kind of fun. Like, I didn't have terribly good chance here. Okay, we are next to a vault on this one, and it's cracked open. Like, there's a guy out here, and he shot me with the sniper. He hit my head, too, so, like, you know, that's something to be happy about, right? Like, I'm doing alright. I tried to reposition, thinking he's over by these bushes. I didn't really know where he was. I think he was over by the pillars at the end of the bridge, but... like, alright, man, this last raid, it better go good. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna crash out. Try and defend myself from this guy on the bridge. I pull out because I don't want to take on those rounds and reposition. These bars, I guess I can't shoot through them. Like, even after I reload, he just had no reaction. So either he just was eating up all of my bullets, or just he truly had no reaction. So you know what? Let's just get out of here, right? Then I just hid. I didn't want to get lit up by him. Why would I? So I just sat here and camped. Then took the alleyway. Okay, what are you doing here? Huh. I took the alley all the way to the vaults, got the medicine, and, well, do I even have to explain what happens next? You know what happens next. It's time to play the certified looting song. Or one of them, at least. There was a Barrett 50 cal and this M248 machine gun. Yes, I'll call it by the actual name, not the game name. And from what it seemed like, I'm gonna need it. You might not see them, but there's a guy out there, and he's taking cover in that little nook right there that I can't quite reach. So when he does pop out, I lay down the law with this machine gun. By the way, 60% or so of these rounds hit him, and he only dies from bleeding afterward. You'll watch his, well, you might be able to see his body right there, just toppled over. So, yay. But that's where the problems start, because a trio had taken cover in this little corner over there, and I tried to get creative on taking him out. I ran out of ammo on my machine gun, so I swapped to my SCAR before deciding, let's revert. Got my Barrett out. It only had 2 rounds, but that's okay. I did my best to take the shots anyway. Here goes number 2. And then I'll realize I'm out of ammo. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Unbeknownst to me at the time, there was only one more guy, and I didn't want to risk there not being one more guy, so I just played the waiting game. But then I got an idea. Sure, this would take forever, but if he's watching the bridge, wouldn't he be not watching around the bridge? So I snuck around. My position got compromised by a scav, so I just chucked a grenade. That one was shallow. Okay, weird grip. Just send it. Oh, shit. He's dead. Oh my gosh. Like, we're talking an Alton, boss armor, fouls. Like, this is impressive. We gotta start looting. See, I know it's funny because I know none of you would see anything that I just showed because of how pitch black it was. But nonetheless, we did it. We got out with, I think, what was that, 4 kills? 3? It doesn't matter. Fellas, I'm proud to say that this was my best raid ever. By far. Like, no competition. Alright, well, from there, you could probably expect that the next raid would be pretty bad. And to be honest, I was expecting it too. Okay, there's the collector. Well, that got interesting. I had to start playing the long game, especially with this guy trying to juke me out. Like, I had to use every resource I could. Especially with 5 magazines, that was going to be tough. With the updated scavs, these guards are going to rip me apart. Not to mention, there's still the normal scavs or other players that could come and join the fight at any time. I made sure to bring AP rounds up. Okay, that was a player, but I guess the magazine got dropped somewhere? I don't know. Oh well. Welcome to Tabor, Suka. His buddy died somewhere else, and yes, I do know a tiny Russian. Only the swears. And after too much fighting, that's the final guard. But as you should know, the guards are not the problem. It's the collector himself. That's a machine gun and way too thick of armor for me to deal with head on. Something I like they did was they gave all the bosses voice lines. Like, they gave it to Nikolai and Tatra in the mall, but the Collector and Kuratek now have them too. Feels a lot more immersed, and especially when they just keep taunting you all the time. I was having to be careful though. I was running out of medicine. Even my drug box was running low, and that has a ton of promenol. Interestingly, no other players came up and started to fight me. Like, I might have been using silenced weapons, but still, they should have come on up here by now. The only other time I've killed the collector before was with a bar. I tried it, and ran out of ammo promptly. Like, it just becomes me pouring ammo into... Oh, okay, he's dead. Let's just open... No. Okay. I did not want a repeat of Mall last video, so I made sure that the gun was loaded before I headed out. And thank gosh, it was unloaded too. Oof. What you see on screen now is what I then proceeded to do for the remainder of Raid. I had a fire extraction, and I did not want these vests to go to waste. So I threw them. And threw them. And threw them. All the way back. And you best believe I put my trophy on full display when I did finally get back. Nice. I cast Virtual Assistance. Give it up for Marcus 1, everybody. He's back better than ever, and we're pushing in on a guy who we have to fight. We took a flanking maneuver. Marcus pushed first. Okay, well, my turn. I just missed all my shots, man. That is actual skill issue. Spawned right next to the vault with Marcus next raid. Directed him to the medical cabinet while I stuck the key card into the key reader. But we started to get attacked, and we didn't have the greatest weapons, so we did our best to just rush inside. Marcus's guns screwed up, and I just didn't fare well. I swung wide on this guy, knowing we'd have to fight him. It didn't fare well for me. That was annoying. Then in the next raid, we got a little separated at the museum. While I was going through the med bay, I heard some footsteps of someone and wanted to be prepared. Then I found the ultimate Tabor lifeform. Yeah, I wasn't ready. He's done this before too, and yes, he did friendly fire me. We were pushing up on this vault in the next raid. We knew some guy was in here, and we did our best to kind of just be ready. We had no nades, so I just decided to take the G3 energy and go in. I didn't fare as well. Marcus died as well. Unfortunate. Next raid was almost identical. We brought in a little bit more gear, even got this nade that, oh, okay, go back. Alright, well, at this point I just decided to rush. This guy, well, alright. We traded at least, so Marcus got out with the loot. He collected my G3 from the next raid before I told him, hey, you kinda should not... Alright, well, it's up to me now. Alright, it didn't really go that well. I just did my best to leave, but no. Some of my favorite moments are when we're all stanced up like this, like actual squad tactics. We took some shots and then I realized, no, we gotta get out of here. They're really geared. Because, unbeknownst to you, I don't really like throwing raids like that. Like, maybe you haven't been able to guess it with how some of these raids have gone, but the point stands. A little upset at that one. I don't know how, but some goofball managed to get onto the top of that medical building. He was geared enough to the point where he hurt me, and it was enough for me to be like, yeah, this fight is not worth it. Let's just skedaddle on out of here. Marcus had already died, and I'm behind solid cover. How did he hit my torso? Good spawn, but believe it or not, I did not bring a keycard into this raid. No matter. We just kept pushing on as if nothing had happened. We got separated, and I thought this was Marcus lighting me up. I would have swept through him and dealt with the other guy, but meh, things happen. The next raid, me and Marcus tried to have a competition to see who could kill the other first. I just wanted to fill up my drug box with the promenol that I had spent from the past collector fight, and so when Mark gave Marcus the green light, he took off. Into the church. He was pretty startled and tried to get around, but he failed. Oh, don't worry. I then died too. I didn't start recording until now, but it's alright. I killed a guy, and Marcus had boss gear now, so we were ready. There were some guys on this bridge that we pincered pretty bad. With Marcus's machine gun and my G3, it was pretty quick. Marcus made his way up onto the bridge, and I did my best to defend him. Some more kills are good for the soul, too. Marcus was wrapped up, and he started engaging in someone. Okay, we gotta go help. There was this guy with a silenced AKM who had been giving us problems earlier. I think he tried to flee, but I was not going to have him loop around, so I made sure he knew he was being watched. He got away, and with Marcus holding that stance, I would have too. You know, for being the last Marcus raid, that was pretty dang good. Alright, I'm going to be honest, these next 13 raids, yes I said 13, are going to be brutal. I found this big pile of gore outside here. It felt almost too good to be true, And sure enough, it was. Got a slick kill on a fella here with a AP drum mag on the HK. This will be fun, is what I would say if I didn't get one tapped from Narnia. Yep, there we go again. We had a group of players right around this corner, and I was able to stay stacked. I knew he had a buddy around the corner who was probably more geared, and yep, there he goes. And to credit where credit's due, this guy hit a pretty nice nade. I was sour about it, but it was really good. I knew there was a guy with a machine gun nearby, and I was hoping I could get the drop on him just staying in the train. It was going okay. At some point, however, he must have caught on. He squatted behind that car, looking right at me. I geared up for what I initially thought was my 100th raid. I miscounted. I'm gonna be honest, guys, this is the most it's so over raid I've had in this entire video. I just legged it inside and I knew they came into the building, and sure enough... Oh, boss gear. Alright, yeah, I'll just claim that. Why not? His buddies should be following up. Alright, lovely. I knew that there was another group of players outside, so I was holding down an angle. At my fault, I was holding the angle too long, and at fault of theirs, that's 2 bullets and an AP foul. The high from those past raids, it was completely gone after this. I just wanted to be done. Little did I know, it would be a long time until I was done. Just like the last video, I wanted to end on success, not a fail. You want to guess how many more we play? Got a pretty beefy player down this straightaway. AKM, took it to him. I hit all my shots, and we traded. Whoopee. And now, this is when the insanity really begins. We're just gonna blast through these raids quick, right? Hiding in a place, got the drop on a player. Good, he's dropped, let's move out of the cover and grab his stuff. A guy was camping right here with an MP7, we somehow traded. I will forever hate it when some guy just whips around and one-taps me with like a headshot like this. Like, come on. Running low on ammo, all the scavs are giving me pressure. Can you guess what happens next? This raid, I came across this incredibly good group of players. I wanted to surrender. I'll just let this play out. I'm sure it's fine to show that. Oh no, not again. I'm not gonna lose my gear like that again. Stop that. No. Look, when you really want to be done with something, you start to make dumb decisions. This one, look, it just winds up in another death. I'm not gonna really need to show the context, do I? Finally, after so long, this is the raid I managed to win with. And would you believe me if I said it was a boring raid? Fantastic. I'm finally free of this map. You're still here. Right, you know, I want to say a couple of things before I really end off the video. First off, thank you so much for the initial support on the Chodov Mall raid video. Like, I was expecting that thing to get like a dozen views, and now it's sitting here at like 35 times that, so I'm pretty surprised and thankful that you guys did that. Let's talk about the next video. It's going to be a little rough. Work, life stuff, it all gets in the way, which is why these don't take as much time as they seem to warrant. Well, if I think the point stands that I'm sure you guys are thinking these things are quick. They're not, especially with Matka Miest. I can promise I will only do one more Tabor video, at least soon, and it's not going to be the next one. I'm thinking it's going to be Island, and if you're going to wonder why it's not all of these, it's really simple. Night Island and Night Matka are just the same map. Matka Miest Underground is just Matka Miest with tougher people and no sightlines, and Nuke is just Chodov but bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The next one I don't fully know. I'm hoping Helldivers, but we'll see from there. That's about it. I'm sorry if I put any of you to shame with the idea of he's not a Tabor player forever. It's just not, no, I could not, man. This wipe, I've heard, is phenomenally difficult for no good reason. So, I hope you all take care, and I thank you again for the support. Peace. Yoink.